This last week, I watched the movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and as I was watching it, I really admired the character of Mr. Rogers as portrayed by Tom Hanks. The way that Fred Rogers would make each person he was talking to feel like the most important thing in the world while he was talking to them reminded me a lot of the person I admired the most, who I talk about more often than I probably should, my grandpa. Whenever anyone would talk to my grandpa when he was alive, including myself, they would feel his full, undivided attention and a genuine care and concern coming from him. As I was thinking of these two admirable men, Mr. Rogers and my grandpa, I found myself thinking, I want to be more like them. The thing is, though, I'm not them. I can never be them, nor was I ever meant to be them. God made me the way I am to be who I am. And if I'm spending my time thinking of how I want to be like somebody else, then those are feelings of jealousy that can be destructive in my life. I could never live up to the standard of being somebody else, just as no one else could live up to the standard of being me. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and we should never put any person up on a pedestal. At the end of the day, we're all only people. It's also important to note that oftentimes we want the end results of other people's lives without wanting to live the life that they live. It's easy to admire the fitness of someone who works out regularly and wish that you were fit like them, but it's a lot more difficult to live your life in the way they do to build and maintain that fitness. We can't have the results of someone else's life unless we're willing to adjust our own life to match theirs. This doesn't mean, however, that we can't use our admiration for other people as a means of growing ourselves. I think that when we admire the good works and nature of other people, that it's an opportunity for us to work on those things in our own life. Instead of trying to become like someone else, we can focus instead on certain character traits and attitudes from that person's life to nurture in our own lives. To use this example of Mr. Rogers and my grandpa, instead of wishing for the life that they had, which included Mr. Rogers' television show for children, and the physical struggles my grandpa faced, neither of which I'd like to have, I can instead recognize the characteristic of love and attitude of patience that they displayed. I can then look at my own life and ask myself, what can I do in my life to build that kind of characteristic and attitude in my interactions with others? In this way, I'm no longer wishing I was more like another person, but instead I'm building myself into a better person. I'm striving to become more like who God wants me to be, rather than being satisfied with how I am at this particular point in time. It's not about abandoning who I am in exchange for someone else's life. It's about building myself into someone I can be more proud of. And we should always be growing in our own life. There's always something we can be working on. Now, this doesn't mean that other people are better than us or that we're becoming better than other people, but rather that we're all imperfect people doing our best to follow in the perfect example that Jesus Christ has given to us. We should thank God for the work He has already done in our life, thank Him for making us the way we are, and use our admiration of other people as an opportunity to nurture those admirable characteristics and attitudes in our own life so we can better carry out God's will for our life and our interactions with others. If you'd like to talk to me more about this subject, or you have a question you'd like me to address, you can contact me through the Sermon in the Pocket Facebook page or email me at sermoninthepocket@gmail.com. Also, if you like this program and want to support it, you can pledge a monthly support on my Patreon page, and I encourage you to share this with family and friends who you think would enjoy listening to it or benefit from it. Either way, thank you for taking the time to listen, and have a wonderful day.